Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Miss Esther. Okay, today I'm going to be talking to us about perseverance. Um, Perseverance is mostly seen as continuity in a particular course of action, regardless of what um, must have been happening, and trying to avoid any form of discouragement. You know, the world is going in a particular direction that is not so encouraging, but then we must be able to find ourselves, and we must not be discouraged. We mustn't feel bad or feel terrible with what is going on right now. Yes, it might not be going the particular way that we want it to go. It might not be going the perfect way that we want it to go, but then we shouldn't get discouraged. We shouldn't feel hopeless. We shouldn't feel bad. So when there is so much uncertainty in the world, when things are happening in a wrong direction, it's not a bad thing for one to feel hopeless. When there is so much uncertainty, it brings about hopelessness. People become scared. People become negative, and trust me, it's not a bad thing. So whenever you're going through a particular phase of life where you feel like okay, you feel down, you were discouraged, you feel like you're hopeless, it's not a bad thing for you to feel hopeless, but then you don't remain in that particular hopelessness. You have to stand up. You must be able to stand up and then face it. You don't go into a battle and then when you feel like okay, you're losing the battle, you now decide to just surrender and allow the enemies to do whatever they want to do. You keep fighting. You keep fighting. You keep pushing until the battle is won. So we shouldn't get discouraged. We shouldn't feel hopeless, even when there are so many causes of why we are supposed to be why we should be hopeless or why we should be helpless. But then we have one person who is readily available to help us, and that person is God. So we must be able to submit all of it to God, no matter how it might be, no matter what might be happening. God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ever ask for. So whenever we feel down or whenever we feel discouraged, whenever we feel hopeless, whenever we feel like nothing is working, we are in a particular situation where it feels like nothing is even happening at all. Try as much as possible to cast your mind back and remember all the times that He came through for you. Remember when that particular time that you didn't really have to pray about a particular thing and then you just got an answer. Remember that particular time when you felt down, you felt bad, and then you had to ask God for direction, and He came through for you. So if He can come through for you at that particular time when you felt like nothing was happening, He can still come through for you. So please, let's open our Bibles to Proverbs chapter 4 from verse 25. Proverbs 4:25, it says, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. So whenever such tribulations coming, whenever such trials coming, we should be able to understand that we should place all our confidence and all our hope in God. He is the only one that can deliver us from every form of tribulation, from every trial, from every temptation. We should hold fast. We should hold fast in the place of prayer. We shouldn't give up, even though most of the time we feel very tired to pray. Most of the time we feel like, God, I can't even do it anymore. I'm hopeless. I can't even pray. But then we should not give up. We should not give up. If Jesus Christ had given up when He was being beaten and then He was treated unkindly, we wouldn't be where we are today. Even when he fell the first time, he stood up. He fell the second time, he stood up. He fell the third time and he stood up. So we should never give up. There was something he was saying. He was saying you and he was saying me, and that was why he couldn't give up. When he fell down the first time, he couldn't give up. When he fell the second and even the third time, he was like, no, I see you, I must continue. So we should try as much as possible to not give up. It's not going to be so easy. It's not even easy, but then we should continue. So there will be some times in our lives where some things might just happen. There will be a time in our life where a particular temptation will just hit you. No matter how prayerful you are, no matter how much of a prayer warrior you are, there will be a particular time where so many things will just happen like at once. You are like, where did all this come from? How you are able to come out of that particular situation you find yourself depends on how willing you are. So your response to that particular problem determines your outcome. So when you're going through that particular issue, your response to it will determine the outcome you get from it. So when you're going through a particular phase of life where you feel like nothing is even happening, nothing is like, everything is just happening at once, how do you respond to it? If you're going through a negative situation, do you respond to it negatively? Do you respond to it negatively? Or do you respond to it positively? So your response to whatever you are going through determines your outcome. So please, let's open our Bibles again to Isaiah chapter 46 from verse 4. Isaiah 46 from verse 4. It says, and even to your old age I am he, and even to old hairs will I carry you. I have made and will bear, even I will carry and will deliver you. So the Lord will always be there for us, no matter what it might be, no matter the outcome, no matter what the situation might be, no matter what the temptation is, He is there. So God allows some certain situations or some particular temptations to come to us, not because He doesn't love us. No. He gave Jesus to go through all those sacrifices He went through for us. Doesn't mean He doesn't love Jesus. Him going through that particular thing doesn't mean He doesn't love Jesus. No, it was because of our own sake, and that was why He was able to give Jesus to us. So whenever we go through some particular tribulations and then problems, we should not see it like God hates us. God does not hate us. Those particular situations and tribulations we are going through is to make us stronger. It's to make us stronger Christians. So this day we should determine the responses that we give to situations that happens around us, and we shouldn't give negative situations. We shouldn't give negative response to negative situations. Rather, we should stay positive. We should stay positive and believe that everything will be okay. So bad things happen to good people too. You shouldn't say, oh Lord, I have been there, I've been praying, I've been this, I've been that, so why would you allow such a thing to happen to me? No, bad things happen to good people too. But how you respond to those bad things that happens to you determine how much it ends, how quickly it ends. So when you respond to those bad things that happens to you, those bad things that happen around your life, the response you give to it determines how quickly it comes to an end. So when you have a particular thing you're going through and you say, no, enough is enough. No, I cannot allow this whole thing to continue. No, I would not. That way, you quickly respond to those particular issues, and before you know, it disappears. It disappears. So you must be able to stand on your feet and say, oh, this is a day the Lord has made. I will rejoice in it and be glad. This is a day Jesus has made. This is a day the Lord has made. I will rejoice in it and be glad. It is the Lord's day. He gave it to you. So you should program your day. You should determine what happens. You should determine the result of what happened. So we shouldn't give up. We should persevere. Continue. Yes, it is hard. The situation looks hopeless, but it is not hopeless.